Hello and welcome to Recycled Art Embellished Fish Painting. So hopefully by now you picked up your Take and Make kit. It's going to include a canvas, but it'll be a blank white canvas. This is pre-painted just so it's dry for my video. So you'll receive your colors of paint, which will be blue, a little bit of green, and a little bit of like a grayish color so you can make your underwater scene. It'll include a paintbrush, a piece of tin foil, a couple of brown and green pipe cleaners, 2 pieces of sandpaper, and then a whole bunch of little doodads that we had left over for embellishments. So we are going to make a recyclable painting using materials that we actually had as craft materials left over from programs. You're more than welcome at home to collect maybe bottle caps, the little metal tops to cans, any kinds of other odds and ends that you have. Cardboard would be wonderful. Also, you could do a lot with cardboard, cutting up into little pieces or bending it and folding it. So you could add anything that you could imagine really from all your recyclables at home also. But these actually all things that we had from past programs that were left over, and they were kind of just sitting there in storage, and so I decided to make use of them. So we have from last summer, we did like a beach scene fairy garden, and so these gems were left over, so I had enough for all the kids attending this program to have a bag of them. Also little tiny shells we had left over from that. I don't know what these are from. They almost look like beach glass to me. They're like a little bit of a little stone, and they have like a beach glass feel to them, so I threw a couple of those in there. And then we had a whole thing of beads, buttons left over, different shapes and sizes, so I threw a handful in each bag also of those. The paint actually is also stuff that we had left over sitting in the basement, so it was nice to kind of clear out our space. And we had a whole lot of pipe cleaners downstairs. So these are actually some of the leftover colors that people don't usually like to use. We had an abundance of brown and green. And it's perfect for seaweed or seagrass in our artwork here. And then a piece of tin foil. And again, this is what I'm going to be using for mine. But use whatever your heart would imagine at home. So add whatever you would like. So how I like to start when I was doing it is first I painted my canvas, and then I let it sit and dry for a good 2 or 3 hours. If you do it thinner, you might be able to get away with less time, but you want it really nice and dry. I actually did mine yesterday, so today when I'm doing this video, it's really dry, and it's better to kind of glue on. Also, I left out, you're also going to all receive some Tacky Glue. Tacky Glue is nice and strong. I suggest being very generous with your Tacky Glue when you use it. So some of these are, bigger, chunkier items, so that way they'll really stick. So definitely use your Tacky Glue. I gave you plenty of it, so, really goop it on and then let it sit and dry for a whole day before you go and hang up your picture. Okay, so my Tacky Glue. The things that you'll need that aren't included in the kit are some Sharpies or permanent markers and a scissor. Everything else other than other recyclables you want to add are included. Okay, so I'm going to put these over here so they're ready. So I ended up starting is I took my pipe cleaners and I just kind of twirled them around to prep them. You could really twist them up if you prefer, and they could be like 3D off your painting, so maybe you'll leave a flat part on the bottom so that you could glue it, and then you could use the twirly part on top. That is fine. These I kind of made little twists on like this. However you would like to do it for your seaweed, you could kind of prep them. Then you also received all my little doodads. I'm going to save to the very end, so I'll put those onto the side here. 2 pieces of sandpaper, very fine sandpaper. This was actually from a craft for preschoolers where in the summer last year we took these and cut them into shapes and kids made sandcastles out of sandpaper. It was fun, but we had so much left over. So I want to make it as if it's going to have a sand bottom to my painting here. So I'm going to cut it so I have some little sand hills here, like that. So I'm picturing it, maybe it will go like this. Then I don't want to just make this to waste, so I'm going to use the flat side again to go against the edge. And I am going to cut it again so it kind of goes up and down, like the bottom of maybe of the sea would, like that. Scraps over there. And then I have another piece here, so I could do the same thing. Maybe make another little higher part. I'm going to make this a little... look a little more natural. Like that. Take my extra pieces off. And then this last part, I'm going to do the same thing. Make it a little go up and down. Like that. Alright, so that could be the bottom sands of my picture. Before I glue it on, I think I'm going to also take my little seaweeds, because maybe I'll want them to kind of come out from underneath my sand mounds here. Now, I am going to use generous tacky glue and leave mine laying flat, so that way it has time to dry. You can also use masking tape, I would suggest, not really Scotch tape or duct tape, but masking tape, where you could go and once you glue it, kind of use that to kind of keep things in place nicely while it dries. So I think I'm going to lift this one piece, and I'm going to put a nice amount of glue, because under my sand mounds I really want to attach in my pipe cleaners. Pipe cleaners are a little heavy, so that's why you might want to add glue. It'll really dry mostly clear, so you should hardly see it at the end. Alright, so I made 2 lines up where I'm going to stick my pipe cleaners in, and I kind of have them turned so they could be 3D, the way they pop up. Okay, then I'm going to take my piece of sand, I'm going to turn it upside down and actually add to make sure I have on the mounds that I have enough glue, so that way it really sticks. Tacky glue is a thicker glue. I'm going to lift this one. So it's a little harder to squeeze sometimes, so you might have to use your muscles. I'm going to move these out of the way. Then I'm going to put my next little sand hill on. Again, generous glue. You could always lift it a little bit if you decide you want to add some seaweed in that area that you forgot. Alright, I think maybe I'll have one piece coming out of there, so I'm going to add some glue here for my seaweed and a little extra support glue. This is a project that usually you're like, kids, don't put too much glue. It'll be too goopy. Make it goopy and fill it up. Okay, so that's those parts. And then this one, I don't think I'm going to put any seaweed in this one. So I'm going to just add some here. And add some glue on this. Okay. That's that part. And then for my last one, it'll go right here. And I'll probably stick these longer ones out from under it, maybe like that. I'm thinking I like it. So what I'm going to do is put a whole bunch of glue where those pipe cleaners are going to go. Then I'm going to also glue up my sand mound here. Okay, so first I'm going to take my pipe cleaners and stick them where I like them. Hopefully, even though it's made out of recycled materials, this could be, you know, a project that you could actually take and hang on your wall. It's great for the summer to put up for a while, maybe in your room, since it's an underwater theme. And that's also our theme for our summer reading club this summer, is underwater. I'm going to just add little bits of glue now to the top of my seaweed so they have a little support up the top. Unfortunately, I did not bring any tape with me, and I'm not going to be able to tape mine in the video, but this would be the spot that I would think would be a good area to maybe use a little bit of masking tape if you have it at home. Stick a little piece of masking tape at the top of each of these where you want it to kind of be held onto that glue to dry. But if you see, if you take your finger and stick it like this, it kind of holds it in place itself. So I put a little one on a curve here to take the curve of my pipe cleaner. And these ones are doing pretty good. All right, so that's our first step. So now the thing that we're going to take out is our aluminum foil, or tin foil. I prepped some of my fishes already, but I just want to show you them, and then I'll kind of show you how you can make them. So you have fish. I did a big fish. I did a medium fish. I did a smaller fish. And then I did two little teeny tiny fish because there's all different types of fish. That's what I ended up prepping. So just to show you, I ended up deciding not to draw out what your fish should look like, because I'm really fine with whatever you want to make your fish look like is fine with me. You could just free cut your aluminum foil. If you mess up, I'm sure you might have some in your house that you could use. But you can also take a marker and draw out your fish. I enjoyed making one like a little more oblong like this. And then it comes down a little bit. And then it goes to a point like this for his tail. So you could draw it out. Then cut out your fish. If you don't like it, you could trim them down, whatever you'd like. I'm going to cut my fish out. And tinfoil does tear, so be careful. Okay. So now I have my fish. So then I wanted my markers, and permanent markers are good because this is shiny and so it won't totally, you know, come off on your hand. If you use like a Crayola washable marker, it might come off in your hands. So now you have your fish, and then you could decorate him a little bit, however you want. So I always like to start with a little eyeball, so you know what his face is, and a little smiley face, so he's a happy face. Fish, if you want to make him a little bit angry, you could give him like some scary teeth, a little bit of a mean kind of mouth. It's up to you. And then you're going to pick what color you want to put your scales on for him. So I'm going to do blue and orange for this guy. So you could take it and you just go some little wavy kind of U shapes. Maybe I'll even add a little bit of orange, green, lime green. All right, and you could just make your little lines. For the video, I think it might be a little light, these colors, so I'm going to go over them in some darker colors. So I'm going to just bring it up to the camera so you can see my lines and how I'm making them. That one color is a little light, so I'm going to make some more darker color red over it. You can really do whatever you would like, however you are happy. Alright, so this is the color scales on my fish. Then for his tail, I'm going to make some lines to make him have a nice fancy tail like that with blue. And I'll add a little bit of red on his tail too. So that's really what your markers are for, is to kind of embellish your fish. And they're really pretty how they're reflective. So those are fish. So we're going to glue our fish wherever you would like to glue them onto your project. So I think, let me just arrange kind of how I want them. I think I want my two little guys here maybe swimming in the pipe cleaners, almost like under them, like they're hiding out over there from the big fish. So maybe I'll kind of put them lower like that. And my big guy over here, maybe him and him. Kind of cute. Okay, so you're going to take your glue. If you have a hard time, shake it upside down to get that glue down because it is a hard squeeze. Hopefully you're nice and strong. You're going to add some glue on the back of your fish and stick them. They'll stick pretty easy. It's such a thin material. Added glue onto the back. Stick them on down. And you could even lay everything out, then you could come, and even if you have like a little, a book or something, a little textbook or something, you could sit it on top of parts that are having a hard time sticking and it'll hold it on while it dries. Or you could use tape. So a little bit of glue. Now your project, you have to remember, is going to take a little bit longer than how mine is, what I'm showing you on this video, because you're going to have to do the whole step of painting it. And if you see on mine, the way I painted it blue, but then I mishmashed some green and some that grayish white color to make like some foam in the water. You can really do whatever you would like with it. And then my big guy here. Okay. Okay, so then for your embellishments, you can really decide however you would like to use them. I envision these little glass pieces as here, like bubbles, almost from our fish. But you could really use them however you would like. They would be good as just little like stuff in your sand, like little jewels or gems. You could just put them in as air bubbles in your piece, whatever you would like. So let me just decide where I want to use them. I think I'm going to put one down there, maybe two up here, like they're bubbles from this guy. These are heavy, so make sure you use a lot of tacky glue, and you're going to really give it time to dry. If you have hot glue, you can choose to use that at home. That's fine. I just didn't want to assume everybody had hot glue at home. So be generous with your glue. And when you put these, there's a flat side and a rounded side. Definitely make sure you're using the flat side down on the canvas, because it'll stay better. Okay, so those are those. Let's see. I'm almost thinking of putting some of these little flower buttons as maybe some flowers on this tree. I only have a handful of them. Let me see. I always like to kind of lay things out where I like it prior to gluing it to make sure I'm happy with it. So I'll do that, and then I have some other round buttons too I could always add. So I'm going to put one there and glue it. And don't forget, if you have cardboard or bottle caps you're using, you could really use those. You could even, if you want to, paint like a little treasure chest somewhere and stick things on top of it. That would be fine too. My shells, my little tiny shells, I'm going to just stick them around random places in this sand like they fell to the bottom of the ocean. I'm going to stick some up here. Again, generous, because these are, even though they're tiny little shells, they are big, so you want to make sure they stick. Let's see, I want to make this a little thicker. Where these shells are going. I have 3 little tiny ones left, so I'll stick them over here. Perfect. Okay, so what I have left is a couple buttons and these little pieces that almost look like sea glass. I think the sea glass I'm going to just stick randomly again on the bottom. I mean, you could even opt to embellish your fish with the buttons if you would like. Okay, that's that. And for my last little buttons, I think I'm going to kind of just bounce them around next to some of my other seagrass here. All right, let's see what colors I got. Yellow. Alright, so I think I'm pretty happy with my piece here. I'm going to let it dry for at least 24 hours before I sit it upright and hang it up anywhere. Just to make sure it's nice and hardened and dried up. There you go. I'm going to add a little more glue to some areas. Alright, that is my piece of art here. So I hope yours turns out where you really enjoy it and you like it. And you do want to hang it up in your room or in your playroom or something like that. Share your pictures with us. We love to see your pictures. So if you like how it came out, take a picture and email it to us. Our email address where you can send your pictures is on the form with the take and make, so with instructions. So, all right. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day.